High quality pasture and forages are a critical resource for any cattleman. And with me today is Jeff Clark with Corteva Agriscience, who knows just a little bit about pasture and forages. Jeff, thanks for being with us today.
Good to be here, Kevin. Thank you.
Let's begin there. High quality pasture and forages really makes a big difference to the nutrition of a cow herd. Tell us more.
Absolutely, Kevin. Nutrition is, paramount when we're talking about raising good cattle, sustainability in our cattle. And that's one thing at Corteva Agriscience we pride ourselves on, is developing good quality healthy forage by removing those weeds that are really just thieves of our nutrients and our water that our forages so desperately need, so that our forages can have not only the growth that they need in height, but that good protein content and TDN that the cattle's need.
And that becomes even more important in times of drought, like many of us are experiencing right now. So let's talk about weed management. You've got a product called Duracor. Tell us how that herbicide can improve our pastures.
Absolutely. So Duracor is one of our new herbicides in our lineup of many great herbicides. Duracor is one that controls 140 plus weeds. It's got the amino pyrrolate in it like people normally have used when Graze on Next or Chaparral. So it's got the residual. But again, it's picking up some weeds that Graze on Next just couldn't do a good job on, or maybe it just suppressed. That's where Duracor really comes in and controls those weeds at a lesser use rate at that.
That's excellent. You've also mentioned and introduced a product called Ulti Graze. Is it weed and feed? And I'm not as familiar about that product. Tell me more.
So Ulti Graze is our new branded fertilizer blend with herbicide. So what we are doing is taking our Duracor herbicide at the 18 or 20 ounce rate, mixing it with a dry fertilize of 200 pounds or more, depending on what you need for either your hayfield or your grazing pasture. And therefore you're getting a one-pass system of weed control, but also getting the nutrients that those forages need to really take off, and then later on in the season be able to outcompete that weeds that might germinate later on.
And given today's diesel prices, one pass makes a big difference for a lot of us.
That's where you're getting that return on investment.
Absolutely.
Less cost.
Let's talk about return on investment for just a minute, because not many people that I talk to will disagree that products like Duracor will control weeds. The question is it a profitable decision? Do I get more forage than I pay in weed control? Give me your perspective.
Absolutely, hands down. So if you go out and use Duracor herbicide this spring or this summer, you got to keep in mind, for 1 pound of weed removal, we're giving you back 1.5 up to 2.5 pounds of forage. So at that point in time, not only are we increasing the protein in our forage because of the nutrients that we've already talked about, but we're able to increase your herd size because of the dry matter forages that are there. We're able to also increase your grazing days. So that means less hay, more grazing, less supplemental feed, more grazing. And we all know that feeding forage is the cheapest way for our cattle. So it's hands down, you might spend a little bit on the front end, but it's the tail end that you will see, wow, I'm really making money off of this.
And from my perspective, regardless of what we spend on herbicide, it's a lot cheaper than going out and buying another acre of ground these days.
Absolutely,
so
if you can find it or even lease it.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Jeff, thanks for your insights. Very, very helpful.
Yes, sir.
And for any of you who would like more information on Corteva's portfolio products, you can find that information at rangeandpasture.com.